Well, 23andMe is going out of business, but does that mean you need to worry about it? Let's take a look. Hey everyone, I'm Wes with Riding Hood Solutions. Lately, I've been getting a lot of questions regarding 23andMe going bankrupt. What does that mean as far as your safety if you have actually uploaded your DNA to 23andMe? So today I wanted to make a video where we just kind of dive into what the possible vulnerabilities of that are and what you can do to protect yourself if you have submitted your DNA sample to 23andMe. So if you don't know what 23andMe is, it is a company that will take a DNA sample from you, you send it off to them in the mail, and then they will provide you with information about your heritage, your background information, your family tree. It'll give you percentages of what ethnicity you are, things along those lines. While that's pretty cool, there are some vulnerabilities that go along with that. For example, like over the years, some people have sent off their information, then found out they had some long lost relative they didn't know about. Everything sounded good, but then kind of find out that relative was a total scumbag. And next thing you know, they have all kinds of issues due to that. There's also the possibility that you end up finding out about this long lost brother that you had because one of your parents had an extramarital affair or something like that. Sometimes you're opening up a can of worms with 23andMe that you didn't know you're getting yourself into. So I do recommend people exercise a little bit of caution before they sign up for 23andMe, but it's ultimately up to you. So what is the big deal? Is there cause for alarm since 23andMe is going out of business? They are probably going to have to sell off at least portions of that business to include the information that people have given to them. So what does that mean for the privacy of the information that people have submitted to 23andMe? Because frankly, 23andMe has some of your most intimate details. If they know everything about you from a genetic level, that can be concerning. But why? So first of all, there's the most practical reason, right? Let's say that 23andMe sells off all their information to whoever's buying it, right? Well, they have a lot of your information regarding your family tree, regarding your genetic makeup. Let's say that a criminal gets a hold of that information. Well, now they're going to be able to tailor a social engineering attack specifically to you with a lot of information. They're going to know all about your family members. They're going to know all about your ethnicity, your background. So just think about it from that standpoint. How much easier will it be for a criminal to social engineer an attack against you if they have the information that you have submitted to 23andMe? Another concern comes in the form of like insurance companies and like health privacy. So let's say that you submitted your sample to 23andMe, they went out of business, and then let's say like an insurance company or somebody is able to buy the information, right? Well, let's say that from that information, they're able to determine that you are at an increased likelihood of a risk to some certain disease based off your genetic makeup. Well, they might try to either deny or increase your insurance rate to you based off of that information. Is it a given that they are actually going to do that? No. Have there even been any reports of this happening? I don't think so, but are insurance companies above that? I don't really think they are, so it is a possibility. Then getting into the tinfoil hat stuff, there is, some people are concerned that, okay, what if somebody has my DNA? Could they potentially frame me for a crime? I mean, maybe. I don't think it'd be as simple as just, taking some ones and zeros based off your genetic code and then somehow formulating that into some kind of concocted saliva that they throw onto a crime scene or something like that, right? So I'm not personally that worried about somebody framing me for a crime due to your genetic makeup. Now, let's say that someone was able to get into a system that is reading out DNA profiles that have already been evaluated through law enforcement or something like that, and they're able to swap the findings with yours. Okay, that is a little more feasible. But again, you would have to have some pretty significant capabilities in order to be able to pull that off. Now, for like the real science fiction stuff, like there are the concerns you get from like Bond movies and stuff like that, where, oh no, if they have my DNA profile, are they going to be able to create some bioweapon that only affects me or something like that? I mean, maybe that's out there. I'd say you really have to have ticked off the wrong people for that to actually happen to you, but I don't know, maybe it could happen. Something that is a little more concerning right now to me, though, from the science fiction world, or at least we used to think it was science fiction, is, I don't know if you saw this in the news today.
ABC News given exclusive access into Colossal's lab in Dallas, where scientists are using genes from gray wolves to create dire wolves.
We've taken a gray wolf genome, a gray wolf cell, which is already genetically 99.5% identical to direwolves, and we've edited those cells at multiple places in its DNA sequence to contain the direwolf version of the DNA. That animal looks like a direwolf, it will behave like a direwolf, and it is a direwolf.
Now, 7 months old, direwolves Romulus and Remus eating well and getting bigger every day.
I feel like we may have been warned about this somewhere. It's kind of ringing a bell.
Yeah, don't you see the danger, John, inherent in what you're doing here? Genetic power is the most awesome force the planet's ever seen, but you wield it like a kid that's found his dad's gun.
Yeah, what could go wrong? I'm sure nothing. So my personal concern about this, it sounds a little science fiction-y, right? But if there are companies out there that are actually doing genetic research to the point that they're bringing back species from extinction, like here they're bringing back the direwolf, they're looking at bringing back a woolly mammoth, dodo bird, all kinds of things, right? If they're doing that kind of stuff, do you want them to have your DNA? I don't. I don't even know that they would do anything malicious with it. I don't know that they could do anything malicious with it. But if they're doing that kind of stuff, I don't want them having mine because I don't even know what the possibilities are that are out there.
Yeah, but your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should.
Running around with a freaking werewolf that looks like me or something like that someday. Not down with that. So given all this information, there are actually several attorneys general from states ranging from California to New York that are advising people that if you have submitted your DNA to 23andMe to go ahead and delete the information from the website, which you can do from the setting. That being said, the Federal Trade Commission Chairman Andrew Ferguson was quoted as saying that 23andMe and its future owner must uphold the company's privacy promises. Yeah, that's cool. However, a concern that I have is...
I'm simply saying that life finds a way.
You know what else finds a way? Tech companies. So with that being said, I wouldn't trust them, man. I would still delete your information if you have the ability to. And having done that, you should be more secure. Do they have other backups of this information out there? Maybe. I just don't know. But at least this way you can say you gave it a shot, okay? So this isn't a great situation, to be frank, but whatever. At least this way you can rest assured that you've at least done what you can to take your personal information down from the internet. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you like more content like this, leave in the comments what other types of reviews you'd like us to do on different scams that are out there or different tech. Any questions you might have, please leave them in there. We love interacting with people. Also, don't forget to check out our online course, Cyber Self-Defense 101, The Essentials. I'll leave the link to it down in the description. In there, we go over ways that you can spot different scams, ways that you can protect yourselves against them, and how you can just basically secure your online life. So don't miss it.